Hello and welcome to a new trip report here on Bongoplanes. This is a little bit of a special video for me because this is going into my series Special, which is of course real life footage of aviation, so mainly spotting but also wing videos, and now also recently I've started to doing these trip reports. And this is in fact my 100th video in the series Special, so a little anniversary for me here. But anyway, you might already have recognized that we are in Geneva today. We've just passed the security checks. We're now on the way to the information board to check out our gate. We have boarding in just about 1.5 hours, so the gate is probably not announced yet. Now, the first question is of course, where are we going today? Now, we are flying to Billund in Denmark with Lufthansa, which means we will be flying via Frankfurt. So, let's get to the information board. There are a lot of people today. It's a late afternoon and the airport is very, very busy. So let's get to the board. Let's get around here and check it out. So our boarding time is 17:25, but our departure is 17:55 as normal, 30 minutes after boarding. So let's see, Frankfurt. It has already been announced. Okay, that's unusual. A2 is our gate. That's nice. Yeah, normally the gate wouldn't have been announced yet, but today it is. That's nice. So, for me, I have some time. As I said, just about 1.5 hours before boarding starts. I will go to the lounge now. I will not be filming today in the lounge as I know it will be very, very busy. If you are interested in seeing the lounge in Geneva, I've managed to film a little bit in it in a previous trip report. If you want to see that, I will leave a card, should show up right now, and you can just click on that and then go to the video there. Anyway, we will continue after I've been to the lounge to rest a little bit and get some drinks, and then see you again, I guess, when I'm on my way to the gate. I'm back. I'm done with the lounge. I had a few drinks and a nice rest. So now we are back in the main terminal area. I'm on my way to my gate. The gate has not changed, which is awesome. So it means we are still on our way to gate A2. Now let me give you a little bit of details about our flight. So the first flight of today will be from Geneva to Frankfurt. We are flying on LH 1223. It will be an Airbus A320. We will be sitting on seat 4A, which means we are flying business class today. This trip is actually a little bit special for me because the reason I'm going to Billund, to Denmark, for this time is because I am attending a wedding of a friend of mine, and well, I'm very, very much looking forward to that. I think that will be a great, great day. And since this nice occasion, I thought why not treat myself a little bit and fly business. Now there is also another story behind my trip today, why I'm flying business class. Now normally I would always fly economy in Europe because honestly there's really no need for anything else. But today I'm flying business class, and the reason for that is because I gave the airline, in this case Lufthansa, an offer for a business upgrade. Now, Lufthansa has introduced this new program, which is not really new in the concept, it's been around for a few years already, where you can make an airline an offer for an upgrade. In this case, I made then the offer for both flights, and I was lucky enough to be picked. So, there are a few questions regarding that, because I booked economy, and the light version, so to say, which means it would allow me to have one piece of hand luggage for 8 kilos and no checked-in luggage, which is fine in this case because I really have only a short trip and I'm only staying in Denmark for a few days, so I don't need to check in luggage. But now I'm on business class, and business class would normally allow me 2 pieces of hand luggage up to 8 kilograms with Lufthansa and a piece of luggage checked in. But I'm not quite sure if this actually also counts now as originally booked economy. That's a bit confusing for me. And the other thing is, of course, how are you actually rewarded? Because as I'm a member of Miles and More, and I'm a frequent traveler on that program, how will I be rewarded? Will I be rewarded as an economy passenger, or will I actually get the full business class reward? That I'm not quite sure about. I'll probably not find out before this video goes out, because as I'm taking the flight now, the thing is of course not in my account yet, so I can't actually check up on it. If you have experiences with these kind of programs, or maybe in particular with this Lufthansa program, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on it, and if you actually get these extra things even though you originally booked economy instead of business class. I would be very interested in hearing your experience as to if you like these programs or not. Anyway, we are getting very close to our gate now. As you can see, A1 there, and here we have A2. So I will leave you now and see you probably on the plane.
In Ihrer Sitztasche finden Sie eine Informationskarte mit diesen Sicherheitshinweisen. Bitte prägen Sie sich die Lage der Notausgänge ein. Diese sind mit dem Wort Exit gekennzeichnet und Leuchtstreifen im Boden zeigen Ihnen den Weg dorthin. At your seat you will find an information card explaining these safety instructions. Please take particular note of the location of the emergency exits, which are marked with the word Exit. Illuminated strips on the floor will guide you there. Bitte beachten Sie, dass sich der nächstgelegene Notausgang auch hinter Ihnen befinden kann. Please remember the nearest exit may be located behind you. Wir sind gleich startbereit und bitten Sie, die Rückenlehnen Ihrer Sitze in eine aufrechte Position zu bringen und die Servicetische vor sich zurückzuklappen. Bitte achten Sie auch darauf, dass die Sonnenblenden während Start und Landung geöffnet bleiben. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Wir wünschen einen entspannten Aufenthalt bei uns an Bord. In preparation for takeoff, we kindly ask you to put the business of your seat in upright position as well as your tray tables, and please keep the sunshades open during takeoff and landing. Thank you for your attention. We wish you a relaxing stay on board.
Right, so now that the cabin crew has finished their safety announcements, we are back, and we of course already on the plane. You could follow the pushback, and we are now waiting to proceed onto the runway. So now let me just give you a quick summary of the boarding. Now obviously boarding was nice today. It was perfectly on time, and the reason why it was nice, other than being on time, is of course that with the business class ticket you also get priority boarding, which is very nice for me, because when I'm getting on board the aircraft and want to prepare, you know, to record here, it's nice when it's not so crowded yet and you have a bit of time. You can just put some equipment on the seat next to you and get ready to, you know, put everything in place. So that's very nice. Now we should be moving fairly soon, and I'm pretty sure that we will go out on runway 05, but I will confirm that later when I get back to you when we're getting closer to Frankfurt, and then we can also talk about how the flight went. For now, we'll leave you with the images from the start, and then see you in a little while. are back again, and we are now getting close to Frankfurt. We have started descending, and as you can see, we are not so far away anymore. So let's summarize the flight. So firstly, I was right, we took off on runway 05 from Geneva, and then we pretty much just went straight. And then, yeah, now we are in very close to Frankfurt. Now, the flight itself was very nice, service was very good. Obviously, with business class you get a little bit more attention, you also actually get some real food. In this case, we had some chicken with some paprika or something like that. We had a little salad, some tomato, cucumbers things. We had some feta cheese with some lentils. Then we had a very nice dessert, some cream, vanilla cream, and some cookies, and of course pretty much as many drinks as you would like. Yeah, so I really can't complain. The flight was great. The food was actually for once not too bad. I think what I don't like about business class and Lufthansa normally is that the food they serve, it tries to be very fancy and tries to do some strange combinations, which I'm not very big fan of. I mean, okay, sure, if it works, but normally it doesn't, honestly speaking. And in this case it was still a little bit refined, but it was pretty basic and it was very nice. So, yeah, I can't really complain about this flight. It was very nice, as I said, and we are now getting close. We should be landing on runway, yeah, we will be landing on runway 25 center, and I will be quiet in a little bit now because, of course, we want to see how the landing goes. So, talk to you in a little bit. Yeah, that was actually not too bad. Nice and smooth. It might shake a bit on the camera, but that's due to the suction cup I'm using. It can move a little bit, but it was a very nice smooth landing. So now we are in Frankfurt. Now there are some options. What can happen? Today we have just about, I think, 2 hours before my next flight. Unfortunately, I actually prefer when I have maybe an hour. That's for me the perfect time to spend on a connection flight. But anyway, we have about 2 hours, which means we will have good time whatever happens now, because obviously now we could be parked in an apron position, or we could go straight to terminal building, which I wouldn't mind, because honestly, who wants to drive on a bus? But let's see what happens, and then I will update you when we, let's say, get into the terminal. So we are now at the terminal. I didn't film the bus ride. I didn't really have a good angle for it, so I left it alone. Anyway, now we are in the terminal. Now, according to my boarding pass, our gate would be A25. for flight to Billund. However, this is on the ticket that I printed out 24 hours before my first flight of the day, so I really doubt that it still will be this gate. But anyway, let's see if we can get through masses of people here and get to the information board here and see what it says about our flight. Would be nice if it's A, could also be B, but let's see, Frankfurt, no, Billund, sorry, A, yeah, so it's A, but no gate, not a big surprise. So, we have arrived in Terminal 1, we are at A, and we will be coming into the latest extension of Frankfurt, also called A+, which is actually a pretty nice extension to the terminal they have here. And we will be going, as I said earlier, we have now just under 2 hours until our next flight, I think. Well, at least we have plenty good time before we have to go to the next flight. So I will be going to the lounge. So see you in a little bit. Been waiting enough here in the lounge. We are actually still in the lounge, but we are now on our way out. We have a gate now, which is A18. Now, while we are heading out of the lounge here and towards our gate, let me just update you on the flight itself. So, our flight will be LH842, of course, going from Frankfurt to Billund, which is our final destination. Then, our boarding time will be 21:15. We're getting close to that now, which means our departure time, at least our predicted departure time, will be 21:45. Now, we are sitting on seat 3F, which of course again means business class, and we will be flying on an Airbus A320-200, but in this case it has actually been fitted with winglets. Now that is all the information for now, so let's get to the gate and then I will see you when we are on the aircraft. Welcome on board. We are, as we can see here, already been pushed back and now on our way to the runway. I don't know yet which one it will be, but I keep you updated a bit later on that. Now the boarding was a little bit mixed experience today. It wasn't perfectly on time, and obviously with priority boarding, getting a bit earlier in the plane, having nice time for setting up for the recordings, all that was great. However, the personnel at the gate itself, in this case it was only one guy, well, let me say it like this, he did his job when it came to, well, boarding us, but the announcements he made, I don't know, he didn't succeed to speak any understandable German, and he also certainly did not succeed in speaking any understandable English. Which, to be honest, is, I think, the first time I've experienced something like that at Frankfurt. So, I mean, I know the procedures, you guys know the procedures, but still it's an important part and it should be fairly clear what they're saying. In this case it wasn't. But not a big catastrophe. and we we got on the plane, so I guess everything is fine. So I think, well, what you can see obviously is that it's getting dark outside, or it is dark outside now. Obviously, when you arrived at Frankfurt, it was still nice and sunny, but we've been waiting a few hours now, and obviously we are now close to 10 o'clock in the evening, so obviously not much light left. That will give us a little bit of a challenge, obviously, when we get to Billund, because obviously it will not get much brighter when we get there, even though we are traveling further north, which obviously helps with light in the late evening hours. But anyway, it will probably still be very dark. I hope that I can show you something anyway when we get there, but let's face that bridge or problem or whatever the saying is in English when we actually get there. For now, I will just leave you with the takeoff, and then we will talk a little bit later about the flight. We are back. Now, firstly, let me apologize that you barely can see anything, but obviously it is just before 11 o'clock in the evening, so it is very dark outside. But we are very close to the airport now, so then there should be a little bit more light. So let me give you a quick update on the flight. So the flight itself was, again, very nice. The service was in some ways better and in some ways a bit less than on the first flight. But I think what was definitely off this time was the food. Now we got some salad, which could have been very nice, but the fact that they had, so it was, you know, just normal green salad, some tomatoes and an egg, and then something more, and that was actually a thing that was really strange, because at first sight I was not able to determine whether it was ham or tuna. And I think, you know, it should be fairly easy to distinguish between tuna or ham. In this case, it looked absolutely disgusting. I tried it, because obviously you're curious to know what it is actually is you've been served. It was ham, but it looked really disgusting. And the fact that this is served as food in a business class, you know, not really good. But the service was, other than that, was really nice and very good. So again, a pleasant flight for me. And yeah, so we are getting closer to the airport now. I know you can't see it, but trust me, we are very close now to landing. So I will be quiet now so we can see how, or at least hear, how smooth or unsmooth the landing is. Not bad at all, especially considering that Billund can be quite windy, so for that it was actually not bad at all. Maybe a little bit rougher than in Frankfurt, but again, as I said, the conditions here are a bit different, so a good landing. Now, we can already see in the background the airport. I guess most of you probably have never heard about Billund Airport. Billund Airport has actually for many years been kind of my home base from where I've done most of my travels. It's not anymore, but Billund is an interesting airport. It's the second largest airport of Denmark. It's obviously, compared to international standards, a very small airport. and it has therefore also some strengths, but it also has some weaknesses. Now the strengths is of course that it is a fairly small airport, which means traveling to and from is very quickly, so you can for example come like 45 minutes, half an hour before your flight, and that would be perfectly fine, of course only if you haven't any luggage to check in, but that would be perfectly fine and you can reach your flight. One of the main weaknesses for me in the airport is, honestly speaking, the staff of the airport. Just like in Copenhagen, which I also did a trip report from a little while ago, the staff is not very good, unfortunately. They are pretty useless, but other than that, the airport is actually very nice, and you can reach most major airports in Europe. So you can reach Frankfurt, obviously Amsterdam, London, Paris, and from there, of course, you can then reach the rest of the world. So it is a very nice airport to travel from because it's simply very quick to travel from, which is obviously something that anyone traveling a lot enjoys. And since I've been talking now, or while I've been talking now, we've actually passed a very interesting looking plane. Now, it's a 757, as you can see, which is a fairly unusual aircraft to have here in Billund. Now, what is that? Is that a business jet or charter or something? Very interesting. Curious. Well, I have to do that, maybe a little bit of research on that. But anyway, so, yeah, I'm sorry, got carried away here, but we don't see the 757 very much here in Billund. Anyway, we are still taxiing, and I think we'll leave you with that now, and then see you when we are in the airport itself. While we are on our way into the terminal, and while I will do my outro now, you will actually see how fast you can leave this airport, which is one of the main assets of this airport, in my opinion. So yeah, if you're still around, I guess the video is again fairly long, but if you're still around, I can only applaud you and say thank you very much for sticking around, and thank you very much for watching indeed. It has been a pleasure traveling with you. If you have liked this journey, then feel free to leave a like, and if you're new around here, why not hit subscribe. Now if you have some critique, feel free to leave it in a comment. You can also dislike the video if you like, but I can only ask of you that if you actually do leave a dislike, that you also leave a comment as to why, because that's much more constructive to me. That's the way I can actually figure out what I could improve in the videos. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. As you can see, I'm getting very close to the exit now, so I will leave you here and say thank you once again. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.